Okay, this is MMA.ca with Kultar Gill here in Abbotsford, British Columbia. Kultar, first of all, thank you very much for speaking with us. You are a huge figure in international mixed martial arts in the past for Canada. However, you haven't fought in the past few years, so a lot of people are asking questions these days. Where are you? What are you doing?
Right now, he's opened up Academy, Mamba MMA. There's a website, mambamma.com in Abbotsford here, British Columbia, where I grew up, in my youth. It's a big 4,500 square feet academy with weights, octagons. I've got a 50-man fight team, but all amateurs. And I've been training with them, and I'm looking to come back and fight too, also.
You've always made it well known in your career that you've been a working fighter. So a lot of fighters these days are able to have the luxury of training full time, and you were never doing that. You always worked and you always fought. I know that was difficult for you. What's it like now being an academy owner and basically this is all that you do?
Well, actually, I'm still working. Yeah, I'm still working here. I'm still working in my as a correctional officer still, and then on top of that, still training the guys. So, thing is, I've been fighting since I was 12 years old. I fought for my first world title in New Zealand when I was 16, right? So, but we never had the luxuries of having sponsors and all that. So, well, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? You gotta just keep going, keep rolling with the punches. So that's what we did, and it was two choices: keep working and not fight, or keep working and do the best you can. So that's what I did. I kept working, do the best I could, and I reached a good level. And now with the academy being open and the next generation coming, and we'll see where we can take them now.
You opened up your school to us tonight, and I was very impressed by the attitude of a lot of your kids. A lot of young kids that are coming up, amateur fights and with hopes of being professional. Was that your goal in starting academy, to create professional fighters, or did you just want to have a gym of your own instead of going to somebody else's?
No, it's an evolution of my training now. Like, I'm kind of at the end of my fighting career. Now, what else am I going to do? I'm always going to be in martial arts. I'm always going to be fighting some fight or another. So, next evolution, open up an academy. So what I did was I opened up an academy that I always wanted. So with weights here, a hot tub here, with a cold tub, ring, octagon, everything like that. But our academy is very different. It's an old Bushido code and a new style of fighting. So what we do here, we do not let anybody negative in here. We, what it takes is like one cancer cell to destroy everything. MMA sometimes is put in a bad light. And that's what we're trying to clean that image up. So everybody's respectful, yes sir, no sir, right? And then if somebody has attitude and wants to put MMA in a bad light, we don't want you at Mamba MMA. So that's why you see we have like the 50 fighters we have, all amateur. They all treat you with respect. No matter who comes in the door, everybody shakes your hand.
Do you think that with the past few years, the UFC's been to Vancouver twice, and there's been a lot of debate about whether or not MMA should even be happening in British Columbia, is that part of your goal to keep the positive attitude here so people think that MMA is not just for thugs and hooligans?
Yeah, of course. Somebody try MMA, they'll know. Jiu-jitsu, it's a science. MMA is a science. Kickboxing is a science. When the people first start doing it, even the guys that come to the door, they're like, oh, you don't want to be tough. They start realizing this is actually a sport, like any other sport, like football, basketball, soccer. And now just getting the message out. It's just a new sport. That's all it is. Back in the day, karate was the same when it first started out. People were like, oh, look at these karate guys fighting everywhere. Then it became mainstream. And now it's MMA, same thing. They think we're just a tough hooligans, but we're not. And now it eventually becomes mainstream, and then we'll be just like the rest of sports, like judo, taekwondo. And now the next thing we need to do, we got to put it in Olympics. If we put it in Olympics, we got it.
You mentioned earlier on when I asked you the question if you're ever going to fight again that it's a possibility you might. What would it take to bring you back into a cage or a ring again?
Well, I wish K1 wasn't going bankrupt. That would have been nice, a little bit easier. But I started training 2 weeks ago. The fire started again. I had a coach to one of my world champions, Cajun Raging Johnson, for MFC. My other Asia champion, Saba, the Persian Warrior, for the MFC fight in Edmonton. So I talked to Mark Pavlich, a couple other guys, and so I'm starting my training now, and hopefully in a month I'll see how the injuries heal up, and then you might see me back in the ring again, alongside with my students.
So it's probably, even though you've maintained your training, you haven't been having professional fights, which takes a big toll on your body. I know in the past you've had shoulder injuries, other injuries. So how are you feeling right now?
Like any other fighter. I feel awesome. Yeah, I have good memories, good events. The body hurts a little bit, but whatever. It's any other athlete, a football player, and same things. But you can still go in and you can still put on a show. The fire never dies, right, inside you. And then I was talking to Sean Tompkins when he was here. Same thing. I was talking the same thing. The fire never dies, right? Rest in peace. So we'll see what happens the next month and train a little bit more and then get my guys ready. Like right now, in the last 5 months, we've been training. We already had 4 professional fights, all wins. And today we had 16 guys at the BCIT tournaments, and 90% of them won gold with only 5 months training. So I think we're doing a good job. It's just not me, it's the academy atmosphere. One thing we have the academy, nobody's bigger than the academy. Not me, not the fighters, just everybody works together. And that's why I think that positive attitude is really creating a good family environment, getting the kids off the street, and making world champions.
So it sounds like you have a definite plan and goal for the academy and for yourself. Where do you see yourself in 2 or 3 years' time?
Well, our goal is like to put a fighter from the academy in the UFC, a fighter in the academy with K1, to Strikeforce, to MFC, right? So we've done a few of those, and now we just got to get bigger and bigger. Long as the attitude in the academy stays good, we'll be doing big things. Try to work. We don't think we're bigger than anybody else, so that's why we try to work out with other gyms too. Like our local gyms here, like Dynamic Martial Arts in Richmond, in Canada. Here, we send our fighters there. Right now, Cajun Johnson, Saba, and Gary Mangit, they've all gone to TriStar to train there. So I send guys out wherever they want to train. Feel free to train. We have an open atmosphere here.
So I know the guys had a really positive experience at TriStar. They stayed in the dormitories for a couple weeks. I know that Rajan's going back for good. In just a couple weeks. He's going out there to live, and Gary's going back out to train again. Is it important to send your fighters out and learn new skills and bring them back and share them with the team?
Of course, because if you're like a fighter, if you're not evolving, you're done. As now, my evolution as a coach is like I always have to evolve, right? I can't have my own ego in the way. It's what do my kids need to learn. They go everywhere, they learn. If they come back and teach, it's good. If not, that's okay. At least I know I was part of their life once. And we were like a Cajun. I've been with Cajun for the last 10 years. We were training hard, helped him with XMA world title, helped him with last fight. And now he's a TriStar. He still knows like I'm still his coach. Right? He's down there. When he comes here, he trains here. Same thing as Gary, same thing as Saba. They all know, I look after my guys.
One thing, I meet a lot of fighters over the years, and one thing that always surprises me, and I don't know why it still does, when I meet them away from a fight, is that they're a lot bigger than I expect. Like, you see pictures at fight time, and when you used to fight at lightweight over in Japan, you were shredded and you were really skinny, and you've obviously packed on some weight, but it's good muscle. Do you think you could get back down to the lighter weights?
Yeah, I'm only walking on 185, and when I was fighting for K1, I was walking on 180. A couple months before the fight, so it's only 5 pounds. But if I do fight, I will not be fighting 155, because if I do fight 155, just the injuries will all start showing up, right? And the injuries I had from before. So when I do fight, it'll be 170. Might be a small 170, but I'll be deadly 170.
Great. Well, you were deadly before, so just imagine. Do you have any final words you'd like to share with any of your viewers on MMA?
Yeah, just keep MMA positive and keep spreading the word, and let's work together and bring this sport mainstream.